poor girl tricked into a singing contest, to be humiliated, unaware she's the CEO's lost daughter. She stood on a crumbling stage, mocked by a crowd that saw her as a joke. But Eloisa Salvador's trembling voice carried a dream, to reach a mother gone and a father unknown. This is the story of a girl who turned laughter into applause, pain into strength, and a stranger's claim into a family reborn, proving that even the smallest voice can echo loud enough to change the world. Under the blistering Midwest sun, 11-year-old Eloisa Salvador stepped onto a makeshift stage at a rundown amusement park. Her faded dress, patched at the seams, hung loosely on her small frame. Curly hair framed wide, searching eyes that seemed to look beyond the jeering crowd of kids. She clutched a scratched microphone, hands trembling as she began Only Treasure, a lullaby her late mother, Miriam, had taught her. The first note wobbled, and laughter erupted. "Froggy voice!" a boy shouted. "Go home!" another taunted. But Eloisa sang on, not for their approval, but to send her voice to the heavens, hoping Miriam would hear it through the wind. In her pocket was her mother's worn songbook, its faded pages inscribed with, "A voice from the heart is always heard by God." She traced those words like a lifeline, her only connection to a mother who'd left her too soon. Across Chicago, in the glass-walled penthouse of VTC Industries, billionaire tech mogul Donato Valerica sat alone, a cold beer in hand, staring at the city skyline. At 38, he was a titan, stoic, untouchable, leading a global tech empire. But behind the dazzling headlines, a wound festered. Tucked in his desk drawer was a photo of Miriam, his first love, pregnant and smiling, a memory from a life his powerful family had ripped apart. They called her trash, forcing her out when she was carrying his child. Donato never knew she'd given birth. That night, a viral video stopped him cold. A thin girl singing off-key by a rusted carousel, her raw voice piercing his soul. Those eyes, his eyes. "Luis," he called his assistant, voice tight. "Find her. Name, address, everything. Now!" Eloisa's viral moment wasn't about talent. It was a cruel joke. The clip, captioned, "Fatherless girl sings on sidewalk." Cringe and cry vibes spread like wildfire. Comments cut deep. "She sings like a dying cat. Put her on LOL Kids Got Talent for laughs." At her foster home, Eloisa sat on her creaky bed, scrolling through them on Miss Viola's borrowed phone. Each word stung, but she clung to her mother's songbook, tracing the handwritten lyrics of Only Treasure. "Maybe Mom heard me," she whispered, hugging her threadbare teddy bear, Miriam's last gift. Her foster siblings teased her. "Still sounding like a tin can, Eloisa?" Karen sneered. But Miss Viola, the caretaker, hushed them. "That girl's got heart," she said, watching Eloisa clutch the songbook, eyes searching the ceiling as if her mother's spirit lingered there. When LOL Kids Got Talent invited her to perform, Eloisa hesitated. "Why me? There are better singers," she asked Miss Viola. "You're special, Eloisa. Your story's real." Carla, the producer, forced a smile. "Exactly. People love authenticity." She didn't mention their plan to use Eloisa as comic relief for ratings. Eloisa felt a flicker of hope. Maybe this was her chance to be heard, to sing for her mother in the heavens. In the chaotic studio, Eloisa was handed a tight, outdated costume. "It's all we have," the wardrobe assistant said, smirking. "Keeps it pitiful." Backstage, contestants whispered, "The frog-voiced girl." Eloisa clutched her songbook, its weight grounding her in the storm of sneers. On stage, the host's smirk and the audience's murmurs felt like a tidal wave. She sang Only Treasure, each note raw with longing. The crowd's laughter faded, replaced by hesitant claps, then silence, not awe, but confusion. Backstage, producer Chase Rivers grinned at his crew. Zoom in on her tears. This is viral gold. Donato's world shattered when he saw the show's teaser on late-night news. Eloisa, his daughter, was being exploited. Luis confirmed. She's Miriam's child. No known father. Entered as a joke. Rage and regret surged. Donato had loved Miriam, a college sweetheart from a quiet southern town. But his family, led by his domineering father, Guillermo Valerica, deemed her unworthy. When she got pregnant, they threatened her, bribed her, and forced her to leave without a word to Donato. He never knew about the child. Fire the crew. I'm there in 10. He barked, speeding through Chicago's dark streets in his black SUV. Franco, his confidant, sent a secretly recorded audio clip. You don't even know your father, and you're singing? Chase scoffed, followed by crew laughter. Then, Eloisa's soft voice. I just wanted Mom to hear me, even if she's gone. Donato's fists clenched, tears burning. What kind of monsters mock a child? He whispered. At Network 8 Studios, Donato stormed past security, his name clearing every door. In the VIP room, he watched Eloisa on the monitor, trembling but singing with heart. Her eyes, his eyes, carried the same sorrow he'd buried for years. My daughter, he murmured, needing no DNA test. As she finished, the host called her. The viral moment of the year. Donato's heart thundered. They weren't uplifting her. They were tearing her down. He burst onto the stage, unscripted, and seized the microphone. I am her father, he declared, voice shaking. The audience gasped. Eloisa's eyes widened, meeting his, familiar yet foreign. I don't know you, she whispered, fleeing to the emergency exit, clutching her songbook, tears streaming. Outside, Eloisa sat by the exit, sobbing. A stranger claiming to be her father felt like a cruel TV drama. But his eyes, like hers, like Miriam's. Donato approached cautiously. I loved your mother. My family forced her away when she was pregnant. I didn't know about you until now. Eloisa's voice cracked. Where were you when Mom died? When kids laughed at me for having no dad? Donato flinched, the weight of his absence crushing him. I didn't know you existed. But I'll never leave now. She turned away, clutching her teddy bear, the pain too raw to bridge in one night. The next day, headlines exploded. CO Donato Valerica claims daughter on live TV. Eloisa stayed locked in her foster home room, refusing his gifts, books, shoes, a new songbook with her name. She needs space, Luis advised. I'm not leaving. Donato replied. She deserves a father who stays. Each day he returned, bringing only a photo of Miriam, pregnant, with a note. Eloisa, my child, you got your eyes from him. Eloisa read it, trembling, memories flooding back, singing with Miriam by a small altar, laughing in the rain. Mom knew, she whispered, tracing her mother's smile in the photo. At the foster home, Eloisa sat by a broken fountain, her songbook open. Karen, an older foster kid, noticed her silence. Why so quiet? Scared of that rich guy claiming he's your dad? Eloisa's eyes welled. Everyone who came into my life left me. Why should I trust him? Karen softened. Maybe he's real. Maybe he's the one who stays. That night, Eloisa opened her songbook, reading her mother's words. If I'm gone, don't be afraid to love. Someone will stay. Tears fell as she hugged her teddy bear, whispering, Mom, how do I believe again? One morning, Eloisa walked to the park where her viral video was filmed. By the carousel, she saw Donato, strumming Miriam's lullaby on a guitar. Their eyes met, tears welling. No words, just silence, a shared understanding. She sat beside him, not ready to call him Dad, but willing to listen. "My family threatened her," Donato said. "I searched for her, but by the time I found her town, she was gone." Eloisa's anger softened. "Mom said you didn't leave us. You weren't allowed to choose us." Donato's voice broke. "I'm choosing you now. I'll never stop." Eloisa spent days wrestling with her heart. She sat on the foster home's rusted swing set, reading her mother's note again. "Look for your father. He's a good man," she whispered. "How do I trust, Mom?" Downstairs, Donato arrived with no gifts, just presents. Miss Viola handed her a letter from Donato, enclosing Miriam's photo. Eloisa's hand shook as she read. "I failed you once. I won't again." She looked up, meeting his eyes through the window. For the first time, she didn't turn away. Weeks later, LOL Kids Got Talent changed. Chase was fired, and the show pivoted to inspiration. Eloisa was invited back as a wild card, not a joke. She wore a simple blue dress, holding her original song, "I Am Not a Joke." Donato sat in the front row, no VIP lounge, just a proud father. Her foster siblings held a banner. "You're not alone," she sang. "They laughed when I sang, but I have a story you haven't heard. Every note of fear beats with courage you cannot silence." Her voice, raw and real, stilled the audience. When she finished, they stood, cheering, crying, "Bravo, Eloisa." Donato's eyes glistened. She'd silenced the mockery. Backstage, Donato hugged her. "You're braver than I ever was." Eloisa smiled, her eyes saying, "What?" "Dad." "Couldn't yet." Her performance trended. #Eloisa Not a Joke. Schools invited her to speak. The Valerica Foundation, funded by Donato, supported foster kids. One evening, Eloisa found a letter in her teddy bear's stitching. "Find your father, Donato. He's a good man. You were created in love." She ran to Donato, showing him. "Mom believed in you," she said. He held her tight. "Thank you for believing in me, Eloisa." Donato invited Eloisa to live at his estate. She hesitated, clutching her songbook. "Will it feel like home?" she asked. Donato knelt. "It's your home, not as a guest, but as my daughter." They walked through the mansion, where staff held a welcome banner. In her new room, Donato gave her a music box that played Miriam's lullaby. "This was your mom's," he said. Eloisa held it close, tears falling. "Thank you," she whispered, the word "Dad" lingering unspoken but near. At a press conference, Donato faced the world as a father. "I missed her first steps, her first song. Now I'll give her all of me." He held up a legal document, claiming Eloisa. The crowd roared. Eloisa, watching from home, whispered, "Thank you, Dad." Her heart cracked open, just a little. The Valerica Foundation grew, funding foster homes nationwide. Yellow System. Eloisa Salvador's story became a beacon of hope. Schools, TV shows, and organizations invited her to share her journey. She began writing songs, not to prove her worth, but to inspire kids like her, overlooked, mocked, yet unbroken. One evening, under the stars, Eloisa and Donato sat on the mansion's balcony. She hummed Miriam's lullaby, her voice soft but steady. "Do you think Mom hears us?" she asked. Donato smiled, his eyes misty. "She's proud, Eloisa. And she's laughing, because you proved you're no joke." The final LOL Kids Got Talent showcase was a national event. Eloisa, now a symbol of courage, prepared her performance, a tribute to Miriam. Backstage, she held her new songbook, a gift from Donato, inscribed with, "In every page, I hear your heart." She wore a simple white dress, no makeup, just herself. The host announced, "Eloisa Salvador, the voice of hope. She stepped into the spotlight, her foster siblings and Donato in the audience, their banner reading, "We love you, Eloisa." She sang her original song, "I Am Not a Joke," each lyric a testament to her journey. "I was laughed at, left alone, but my story's my own. I am not a joke. I am the voice of dreams unbroken." The audience didn't move at first, stunned by her raw emotion. Then, a single clap grew into a thunderous standing ovation. Tears streamed down faces, judges included. Eloisa looked at Donato, her smile breaking through. For the first time, she felt seen, not as a punchline, but as a person. Backstage, Donato embraced her. "You've changed the world, sweetheart." She nodded, whispering, "For Mom. For me." The performance went viral, but this time, it wasn't about pity or mockery. Hashtags flooded social media. Hashtag Eloisa not a joke. Hashtag daughter of hope. Messages poured in. "You gave me courage to sing again. Your story saved me." Eloisa's song inspired a generation, and the Valerica Foundation expanded, offering scholarships and support for foster kids. Donato, once a stoic CEO, became a father first, learning to love without conditions. One weekend, Donato and Eloisa traveled to Miriam's hometown in the Pacific Northwest. Under a towering willow tree, Eloisa placed her mother's letter in a small box at its roots. She sang a nameless melody, her voice blending with the wind. "I'm okay now, Mom," she whispered. "I'm safe." Donato sat nearby, listening, his heart full. The wind seemed to carry Miriam's presence, smiling down. Back home, Eloisa adjusted to her new life, school, music lessons, therapy, but no cameras chased her. She had a family now, a home where her voice mattered. One evening, Donato found her sketching album cover ideas. "What's your next song about?" he asked. Eloisa smiled. "It's for kids like me, about rising above, about being enough." Donato nodded, proud. "You're more than enough." At a special LOL Kids Got Talent tribute, Eloisa performed for her mother, her foster family, and herself. Donato stood on stage afterward, holding her hand. "I'm Donato Valerica, and this is my daughter, Eloisa Salvador," he said, presenting the legal document. The crowd erupted, chanting her name. Eloisa hugged him, whispering, "Dad." The word felt new, fragile, but real. Their story reshaped the nation. Headlines read, "From viral humiliation to a father's embrace, Eloisa's triumph." Donato redirected VTC profits to foster care, earning praise from social welfare groups. Eloisa's scholarship to an art school fulfilled Miriam's dream. One night, as they watched her first audition rerun, Eloisa leaned on Donato's shoulder. "Mom's laughing with us," she said. He stroked her hair. "She's proud, sweetheart. We all are." In her room, Eloisa wrote in her songbook, "I am not a joke. I am a story, a voice, a dream unbroken." Her words became a movement, inspiring kids to sing their truth. Donato, no longer just a CEO, became the father she needed, a man who stayed. Their journey, forged in pain and healed by love, proved that even the smallest voice could change the world. If Eloisa's journey from ridicule to redemption moved you, subscribe for more stories of heart and hope. Join us to celebrate voices that rise above, proving love and courage can rewrite any story.